Hello and greetings from the Fox's Den. I am Mrs. Parizek and I'm happy to share with you today When I'm Alone by Carol Partridge-Ochs. I chose this book today because it has beautiful illustrations, rhymes, and it celebrates imagination. As long as we have our imagination, we are never alone. I hope that you enjoy discovering it as much as I do. Let's get started. I'm Alone by Carol Partridge-Ochs. When I'm alone with only me, and no one's here to disagree, that's when the strangest things I see and wonder, can they really be? It's enough to make me groan. What happens when I'm here alone? Such troublemakers I have known, those beasts who come here on their own. My mother thinks I make the mess they leave behind. Yes, that's her guess. I saw 10 aardvarks in my food, and their behavior was awfully rude. It put me in a grumpy mood, having 10 rowdy aardvarks in my food. Those slurping aardvarks made me shudder, gobbling up my peanut butter. As they licked their snouts, I heard them mutter, "We won't clean up all this clutter." Look at that mess they're making. Nine lions crowded into my bed, wrinkling it up from foot to head. "Why don't you sleep in the park instead?" I yelled at 9 lions stretched out in my bed. One lion slowly raised his paw and scratched his large and furry jaw. At me he pointed one large claw, then yawned and gave a loud guffaw. I found 8 turtles in my tub, giving each other's back a rub. Tell me, could I begin to scrub with 8 soapy turtles in my tub? I reached right in and pulled the plug. Out came the water, glug, glug, glug. Each turtle gave a little shrug and dried off on our new bath rug. Then 7 camels found my door, only 7 and not one more. Well, surely I could not ignore 7 camels snooping at my door. They trampled on my mother's roses and smudged the windows with their noses. One tangled up the garden hoses. What problems a herd of camels poses. Six tree frogs leaped upon my wall. I hardly noticed them at all. Across the hall I saw them climb, making trails of sticky slime. Each footstep left a gooey shine. Who will wash up all their grime? I caught 5 goldfish in my shoe. Can you believe the shoe was new? I couldn't decide just what to do with 5 slippery goldfish in my shoe. The goldfish swam and splashed about until my shoe was wet throughout. "You've wrecked my shoe!" they heard me shout. "Go back to your bowl and don't get out." I saw 4 cows come down my street looking for some cow-sized seats, and all of them had tired feet, the 4 wandering cows there in my street. They came inside and tried a chair. 2 sank down here, 2 plopped down there. When they got up, they didn't care that every seat was thick with hair. I spied 3 hippos in my clothes. I wonder why my clothes they chose. How they got there, heaven knows. Those 3 fat hippos in my clothes. They tossed around my underwear and lost a sock from every pair. My bedroom made me stop and stare. A horrid mess they'd left in there. Look at that mess. Two monkeys rummaged in my toys. They were making so much noise. I knew they couldn't be girls or boys, but 2 meddling monkeys in my toys. They took apart my new airplane and bent the tracking for my train. "Watch what you're doing," I complained, yet they kept on playing unrestrained. I saw a kitten beneath my chair. "You think I'm joking? That's not fair," because that kitten was really there. One purring kitten beneath my chair. He lay curled up throughout the day and never once got up to play. That kitten was the only one today who didn't put trouble in my way. My mother came up from her study and took a peek. "What happened here?" I heard her shriek. "It's not my fault," I bravely said, but my mother slowly shook her head. I looked around, but to my despair, they all had vanished into thin air. Gone were the animals, away they'd sneaked, except for the kitten, who was fast asleep. That is our story for this week. The story was "When I'm Alone" by Carol Partridge-Ochs. Stay tuned to hear more stories from the Fox's Den next week. Bye-bye.